introduce myself. My name is Pawan. I'm responsible for digital trust practice for IBM in ASEAN. And just to create a little bit of a background and to set the context of this presentation, you see, in last 45 days, we all have witnessed the whole of the industry growing through, bit of a transformation. Now, this time, not as the part of the planned digital transformation, but because of the sudden, I would say, tectonic shift towards the remote work. Now, we saw offices, facilities, campuses, they suddenly closed, in the sudden manner. The same business continuity planning that enforced employees to work from home was put on the productivity test. In fact, the situation, if we believe, has improved, probably not. The businesses, the IT administrators are still struggling with fundamental questions. As an example, do all the employees have the laptop? If in case they don't have, can we have the employees bring their own devices to connect to the enterprises? Do they have the access to the corporate applications? And if they don't have, especially for the employees who were required to come to the offices, for example, like HR or supply chain management, professionals, and so on and so forth. How do we ensure that we give them the access to the internal corporate applications, especially to the applications which are sitting behind the firewalls? How do we ensure in the environment where analysts like, I'm just taking example, Forrester, who came out with this concept of zero trust, where you don't need to trust anybody, but you need to give them the access to the internal corporate employee applications. How do we ensure we get them the access to the internal applications without compromising on security? How do we provide them the access to the third party productivity tool like Zoom, as an example, for them to be connected to the internal infrastructure and yet to be safe? Now, and that's what we wanted to talk about for next 10 minutes in this presentation, is to share with you how IBM can help address all these, as I said earlier, tectonic points, and help employees to be productive while working remotely without compromising the organization security posture. Now, IBM, what has done is, as a part of the corporate social responsibility, we announced 90 days, no cost MaaS360 freemium program, which we'll walk you through as well, which not only helps the organization to combat business continuity planning disruption, but also help them, the employees, to be productive. Next slide, please. Now, before I walk through the program, some of the challenge which are keeping the business team, the security teams worried about people who are working from home. In the interest of time, I won't go through all of them, but just to give you an example, as an example, employee access. Think about the organization, as I said, who never had the policy to work from home, and they needed the critical functions like finance, as I said, HR, operations, to work from office. Now, with the current situation, these customers are at the least looking for device management solutions for so that their employees can be enrolled and they can have an access to the internal corporate access. They are looking for secure browser for web application and cloud services. They are also concerned about what would happen to the device security. I mean, is the device which I'm allowing the employees to have the access to, are they jailbroken? Are they rooted? Do they have any remote access Trojan? Are there any malware? What about the data if in case I allow them to have an access to my internal application? Will that be secured? What would happen if in case they download the data on their device? Will that be secured in the first place? And quite frankly, these are all right concerns. And next slide, please. And that's where IBM MaaS360, we call it Unified Endpoint Management Solution, comes into the picture as the first step to work from home. And quite frankly, our Our positioning is very, very simple. I mean, MaaS360 enables endpoint, end users, and everything that comes in between. We help them to get onboarded, especially from the smartphones, tablets, laptops, desktops, and wearables and Internet of Things. All of them comes into that particular category. We support all the possible operating systems, including iOS, Android, BlackBerry, Windows Phone, and so on and so forth, and including, of course, not to forget Mac OS as well. Now, MaaS360 does much more than just allowing and denying the access to the network resources. It provides a whole lot of other capabilities like single sign-on, app delivery, device health check, and access control, and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. Now, as I said, it does a whole lot of other activities. I don't want to go through the whole lot of capabilities, but if you can see the solutions it brings onto the table are on the left-hand side, the description on right-hand side. We'll share this particular slide deck to you. You can have a look at it. What I wanted to communicate here is it is heavy loaded and provides probably end-to-end all the capabilities which are needed under UEM platform. Next slide, please. Now, here is a high-level overview of our architecture, showing how MaaS360 connects the devices and users within your infrastructure. If you see on your left-hand side, we have all the devices that you can support using MaaS360, ranging, as I said, from smartphone to tablets and so on and so forth. In the center, MaaS360 is the platform that provides all the services and capabilities. And through this single console, you can initiate device enrollment, configuration management, configuration compliance, and so on and so forth. And on the right-hand side, that's how we integrate with your environment. If in case you do not want to use cloud-based directories and so on and so forth, we use Cloud Extender and Enterprise Gateway to connect to your on-premise infrastructure. Next slide, please. This is just to give a glimpse. What makes us different is the integration with third-party technologies for user to be productive and protected in case some of the capabilities are not out of the box, and in case customer wants to utilize third-party integration. They all are supported out of the box. Next, please. Next slide, please. Now, and I'm not very surprised because of these capabilities and the feature functionalities and out of the box integration. IBM MaaS360 has received positive recognition from the leading analysts, like, for example, Gartner's Magic Quadrant, Forrester's, and so on and so forth. In fact, Gartner, in a very recent analysis, called MaaS360 multi-tenant architecture as best in class amongst the EMM vendor. Next slide, please. Now, and I'm also not very surprised why across the globe, more than 17,000 customers are using MaaS360 as a platform for their UEM choice. Next slide, please. Now, with that, I wanted to quickly spend 2 minutes on this particular program. What we have done is, as I said, as a part of the corporate responsibility, we came out with 90 days a freemium program. This is primarily for the customers who are new, who never had conceptualized work from home policy, or they never conceptualized the budget for any kind of solution in current pandemic time. What we have done is, so what you see on this particular link, that's a direct freemium dedicated landing page where each one of us can go and register ourselves for 90 days. It's a limited offer with the fact that there are no local support. All the supports are available during the trial period as a direct support in the form of documentation and webinars. At this moment, the solution is offered through India and France data centers. However, in case you need any support, all the documentation and other capabilities are available as the part of the registration process. Next slide, please. So just to show you the glimpse, the link which I showed you, when you click that, you get onto the home page. What you see on the screen now, it's a very simple process. If you already have IBM account, you can use that and log in. It's a very simple 6 or 7 steps process, which will allow your organization to have 90 days freemium. There is no limit for the number of devices at this point in time. Now, in case you don't have the IBM account, you can register. Again, it's a very simple process. You just need to put in your first name, last name, and password, and voila, all that is up and running. Next slide, please. Now, in case you need any further help, we are available. As the part of the ASEAN and local team, we have Darren, who is based in Malaysia. He's the country lead for all the security products. He can be reached, and we are also available for any kind of questions at the end of the presentation.